Hi everyone, I'm Shelly from There's No Place Like Home at redheadmom8.wordpress.com. Last week I posted a question on my Instagram page asking for suggestions on video topic ideas. And one of the most common topics that I actually got requested was about how to do a homeschool routine. And the grades that I most often heard about were the younger grades. And I totally get that, because when you're first starting out in homeschooling, a lot of times you're really unsure of yourself. You're not sure of what it's really supposed to look like, or even if it is supposed to look a certain way. So that's what I'm going to start with today. Today I'm going to share with you my homeschool routine for my kindergartner and my second grader. I think one of the most common misconceptions that new homeschooling moms have about how to do this thing is that it has to take as long as a typical school day does, a typical traditional school day, brick and mortar school. And that could not be further from the truth, especially in these younger years. Now, first of all, I just want to point out, this is my homeschool routine, and no two homeschools will ever look the same. And I would never tell any of you that you should try to copy everything that we do. I like to do my videos to give you suggestions, to give you ideas, inspiration, maybe to just give you little tips on things that you're not too sure about. So I just want you to remember that. Just look at these things as suggestions and ideas. Don't look at this as like a roadmap for your own homeschool routine. Okay, so now I just pointed out that homeschooling does not have to take as long as school, and I also pointed out that it does not have to take as long, especially in the younger grades. And that is because at this age, kids really learn best through play. That is how they make sense of the world. That is how they figure things out. And that is the way that they are going to learn things that are going to stick with them and that are going to have meaning for them. So it is very, very important to me as a homeschool mom that I give my kids plenty of time to have that play time, to have that interest-led learning time that I have found works so, so well with all of my children, not just my littles, but with all of my kids. But now I'm going to start out with just what we do for our typical homeschool routine. I wish that it could be something that I could explain really simply, like we do this, 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 and this, and then we do this for this amount of time, and then we're done. It's not that simple, at least not in my house. So I'm going to try to explain this to you as simply as possible, and I'm hoping that you at least understand kind of what I'm talking about. Okay, so every day we start out with Bible, and we are Christians, so that is very, very important. That is one of the things that is foundational to our homeschool. We start out our homeschool routine with a devotional with all of my children who are being homeschooled. I have 8 who are being homeschooled this year. So we start out with devotion time, but then once that devotion time is done, my kindergartner and my second grader, they will go play for about 2 or 2.5 hours while I work with their older siblings on their school. Once it is their time to start their homeschool day, we start out with a story from the One Year Bible Storybook. And yeah, this is really worn because when I find something that works, when I find something that we like, we use it again and again and again. So One Year Bible Storybook has worked well. We just do one story each day. I don't worry about what the date says, like April 28th. Because we don't read this on the weekend together. We only do it during school days. So we're not always going to be specifically lined up with the days. So yeah, I'm one of those people who turns the pages down in the corner. I know that a lot of people hate when I do that. But that's how I keep track of where I'm at. I don't worry too much about the date. So we start out with one story from the Bible. Then we will typically do a read aloud together. Now, usually I will have some sort of picture book or some sort of book that my girls have suggested to me. Lately, though, we have been using Uncle Arthur's bedtime stories. And I know it's not bedtime during school. But what I like about this is someone actually gave it to me. This book was made in 1950. And I really prefer to use books that were made decades ago with my kids because, first of all, they have good moral values in them. I don't really have to worry too much about the sorts of morals that are coming across in their stories. Another thing that I like about these is that they are not dumbed down in any way. You know, usually nowadays picture books for kids, there'll be like, 5 or 10 words on a page, and then it's like a big picture, and then you turn the page. I like that it has all of this writing. It helps kids to use their imagination while they're listening to read alouds. And I like that it actually uses grown-up words in the story. So it's not just that they don't use just really short sentences. They're using very adult language. Let me see if I can give an example. Like disconsolately. That is one of the words in this story right here. So that is something that I like to look for in my read alouds. Do you always have to do read alouds like that? Absolutely not. I don't always do it. But when I was gifted these older books, I really decided that I was going to take advantage of them. So that's what we do next, is a read aloud. Now, this is where it starts to get tricky because we don't do the same thing each and every day. What we do is we will do 4 days of what I will call more structured learning. And then on the 5th day, typically Friday, we will do nature study together. So I'm going to focus on the structured learning days. I'm sure that that's more what you're interested in anyway. Even our structured learning days do not look the same each day, but I will try to describe them in a way that makes sense to you. Now, on Mondays and Wednesdays, after we are done with Read Aloud, my daughters and I will sit down and we will do a lesson from Beautiful Feet books together. Now, I am not going to do an entire... Sorry, I'm trying to find it. I'm not going to do an entire review of Beautiful Feet books here because I have so many videos about Beautiful Feet books. So if you would like to know more about it, I will leave those links in the description box below. But what Beautiful Feet books is, this is Around the World with Picture Books. There are lessons in it, like right there, it says lesson 7. I will just do one lesson from Beautiful Feet books. That can look different depending on what the lesson looks like. Sometimes we might read another picture book, which I'm trying to find. Oops, I'm dropping stuff all over the floor. We might read another picture book, like this is one of the books that came with Around the World with Picture Books. So we might read a book like this, and then we just might discuss it and, just talk about things that they didn't understand, maybe talk about words. We'll do a picture study and point things out in the pictures, maybe talk about how it was illustrated. Other days, they might not have a Read Aloud with Beautiful Feet books. Some days, what we've been doing lately is my kids have been learning about the animals of Australia. That's where they're at right now. So what they've been doing recently now is they have been watching a short video on YouTube. Most of them are suggested right in Beautiful Feet books. And after the short video, my kindergartner and my 2nd grader will follow me to the whiteboard and I will ask them what they remember. And so they will each tell me usually 2 or 3 things that they remember about the animal. And I will write it on the whiteboard for them in simple sentences. For example, it could be, the Tasmanian devil makes strange sounds. So it could just be a sentence like that. And so what usually happens is we will end up with maybe 4 or 6 sentences like that on the whiteboard. I will have my kindergartner then write 1 sentence, although a lot of times she likes to write more. Plus, I will give her a printable that comes with Beautiful Feet books for her to color of that animal. My 2nd grader, I will usually have her do maybe 2 or 3 sentences. Sometimes she does more that she copies from the whiteboard. And then she will also color a picture that, again, came with Beautiful Feet books. So just to give you an idea. After that lesson is over, and I'm going to tell you that these lessons typically only take about 20 minutes. That's it. The Beautiful Feet books lessons are usually only about 20 minutes. After that is over, that is when my girls will start working on their phonics, math, and spelling. So for phonics, they're both using different levels of Adventures in Phonics, and they will both only do 1 side of a page. So just 1. That's it. Now, my kindergartner, since she does not know how to read yet, I am working through Teach Your Child to Read in 100 Easy Lessons with her. She does not do phonics and Teach Your Child to Read in 100 Easy Lessons every single day. One day she works in phonics, the next day she works in Teach Your Child to Read. Then phonics, then Teach Your Child to Read. Again, never on the same day. We alternate them for her. My second grader had been doing Teach Your Child to Read in 100 Easy Lessons. She got about halfway through, but I noticed that she was reading so fluently and it was just getting to the point that it was too easy for her. So we have recently stopped Teach Your Child to Read in 100 Easy Lessons with her, and she will do her phonics every single day, but now she also reads another book with me, a living book, instead of doing Teach Your Child to Read in 100 Easy Lessons. So that is what my second grader is doing. Now, for spelling, I do not give my kindergartner spelling words unless she asks for them. Sometimes she does like to be like her big sister and she will ask me for spelling words. Typically, though, my second grader is the only one who gets spelling words. We use Natural Speller for that. All that I do for spelling is I assign her 10 words a week. She writes them 3 times a day. That's it. That is all she does for spelling. It is working beautifully. And honestly, I wish that I would have started doing spelling like this years ago, because so far, my second grader here, she's an awesome speller and I don't see any problems with her at all in this area. And again, that's all that we do. Every Monday, they get a new set of words and they just work on that list all week, 3 times each. That's spelling. 5 minutes. Next is math. Now, they are both using Abeka Math. My daughter, who is in second grade, she will do 2 sides of a page. So, for example, she will do this side, and then she will also do that side. And I will usually just tear it out for her. So she does that. My kindergartner, I actually have her working in a first grade Abeka Math book, just because the Abeka kindergarten book, it looked like she already knew how to do everything in it, so I just got her started right away on first grade. But since it is first grade, I do let her take her time with it a little bit more because she's so young, and I will only have her do 1 side of a page each day, because then she can just continue to use the first grade one when she actually starts first grade. So this was what a day looks like when we do Beautiful Feet books together. And as I mentioned before, we do this sort of routine on Monday and Wednesday. And I have got to say that, how much time does it usually take me? Maybe only an hour to an hour and a half a day for my kindergartner and my second grader. That's it. You don't need to be doing this for 6 hours a day. Now, on Tuesdays and Thursdays, when my kids do not do Beautiful Feet books, we will just start out again with the Bible story. We will do a read aloud, and then they will go right into their phonics or reading, and then their spelling and math. After that, they can do interest-led learning. And at this age, that typically means playing, whether it's outside, whether it's playing dolls, whether it's coloring, whether it's through making paper dolls or working with clay or playing with slime. It can be any of those things. But I spent some time, actually 2 years, unschooling my kids. And while we do not do unschooling anymore, it really helped me to realize how effective natural learning really is. So I think it is so important that we have the time to work natural learning into their homeschool routine, which is one of the reasons why we do not do Beautiful Feet books every single day. The other reason that we don't do Beautiful Feet books every single day is because I do have 6 other kids that I'm homeschooling. So I will, on the days that these 2 are not doing Beautiful Feet books, I will be doing more intensive learning with the older kids, and vice versa. On the days that they are doing Beautiful Feet books, my older kids will be doing more basic learning and a lot of interest-led learning as well. And I will get to a video about what their routine looks like probably next week. And then on Friday, it's just nature study. We will, again, do our devotions together, and nature study is done as a family. Everybody does that together. So devotions, usually a read aloud, and then we will do some sort of nature study routine, whether it's planting flowers, whether it's measuring the flowers that we already had and recording them in a book. We might take a walk around the neighborhood and take pictures of flowers that they would like to plant in our garden, and then they can draw them when they get home and look up what kinds of flowers they were. That can look so many different ways, but that's what Fridays are for, is nature study. So again, kindergarten and second grade, they are done usually in about an hour a day. Again, it could go up to an hour and a half, depending on how long the video is or how much writing they're doing in their Beautiful Feet Books notebook to copy the sentences off the board that I was talking about. But that's it. I hope that this has given you some ideas. I hope that this has maybe taken some pressure off of you if you are just starting out and if you are thinking that you have to make your whole homeschool day look just like it does in a schoolroom. It doesn't have to be that way. You can have a relaxed day. You can have a simple day. That is the most effective learning. If you cram your kids with too much stuff, most of it is going to leak out anyway. So anyway, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed yet and would like to hear more of what I have to say, I would love if you would do that. If you have any questions or comments, you might be able to leave one down below. Probably not yet. YouTube has my comments disabled still. So if you would like to ask me a question or leave a comment, I will leave my Instagram link in the description box. You can head on over there and you can ask me anything that you would like right there on my feed. And if you like my work and would like to check out my Patreon page, I will also leave that link down below and you can check out my work and what sorts of rewards I offer for my patrons there. And I hope you have a great day.